The book Maid by Stephanie Land is about a single mother who struggles to make her way from homelessness to creating a stable life for her child. It is divided into 3 parts based on her various living situations, which represent her climb out of poverty and into stability. The first part is best illustrated when Land writes, "Nothing was permanent. Every day I walked on a rug that could be yanked out from under me at any moment. I watched people smile at me, nodding their heads, again telling me how lucky I was to have this program or this place available to us, but I didn't feel fortunate at all." Being offered a room in a homeless shelter and then access to a transitional housing apartment was something Land struggled to feel overwhelmingly grateful for. She did not feel safe in the transitional apartment, and she felt like she was in some sort of prison as they had very strict rules all tenants had to follow. I think the main point of this first part is to introduce how truly broken the American welfare system is, and how deeply ingrained the stereotypes are that we hold of those in poverty. The second part follows her moving into her then-boyfriend's house, and though it was a toxic relationship, she suffered through it because the thought of having to move back to the homeless shelter was too much to bear. Eventually, she did make enough money as a maid to move out and into a 300-square-foot apartment with a horrific black mold problem. A quote that I believe summarizes the purpose of this part is, "Even with the increase of money coming in, I had more bills and less supplement coming from the government. With the amount of time and energy I spent physically working, the burn of not being able to afford necessary staple items was even more painful." As she now made enough to, in theory, support herself, her government assistance declined. However, she still could not support herself without the assistance, so having any sort of savings was virtually impossible. This part continues to show just how cyclical poverty is in America, as well as brings in the interesting perspective of Land as she works as a maid cleaning upper-middle-class homes. She learned that having money does not necessarily make a person happier. The people living in these homes she cleaned never seemed to be any happier with their lives than she was. The last part talks about her finally moving up in the world. She first moves into a much nicer apartment lived in previously by a family above their garage while they were busy building their home. And then at the end, moving to her dream destination of Missoula, Montana. A quote I believe sums up this part of the book is, "We made it," she seemed to be saying with her eyes. "Not just up the mountain, but to a better life. I guess they're in and of the same." Land and her daughter conquered the mountain that is living in poverty in America, but her struggles detailed in the book show how virtually impossible it is to do so. There are a few things I want to remember from reading this book. First of all, just because someone is impoverished doesn't mean they're lazy, deserving of their unfortunate situation, a drug addict, a bad or scary person, etc., etc. The vast majority are simply people that found themselves in a bad situation, and America's welfare system ensures that it's extremely difficult to get out of that situation. Those on welfare are not slacking or taking advantage of the system because welfare provides people with only the absolute bare minimum needed to survive, so there truly is nothing to take advantage of. I think 3 important things to take away from this book is that 1, everyone struggles at some point. This is really emphasized all throughout the book, but especially when Stephanie begins her job as a maid cleaning houses for upper middle class families. She is given an inside look into the lives of those who are seemingly more fortunate than her, but she realizes that everyone has their own unique set of struggles, whether they are a parent or not. Another important takeaway from this book is that those in poverty should not be viewed as criminals. Their only crime is being in an unfortunate situation. They have, for the most part, done absolutely nothing wrong and do not deserve the situation they are in. The last thing I believe readers should learn from this book is that the American welfare system is extremely hard to escape from. Those on welfare are supported until they make enough to support themselves, and then they are taken off. However, the problem lies in the fact that, more often than not, the amount earned for being taken off of welfare is only enough to support the person when it is combined with the welfare. As soon as they are taken off, they fall even deeper into poverty and have to be put back on welfare. In this way, the system essentially traps those needing assistance.